Hi guys! Welcome and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time being here, thank you so much for stopping by and thank you for clicking on this video. Today is gonna be a jam-packed video. In this video, I'm gonna teach you how I turn a SVG file into a rhinestone template. Now this is the result of what the shirt that we're going to design in Silhouette Studio. I'm going to show you how you could turn the SVG file into a rhinestone template, how you could save it as an SVG file so that you could upload it into Cricut Design Space. I'm going to show you how to cut it out using your Cricut cutting machine. I'm going to teach you how to brush in your stones. I'm going to teach you how to press your stones. And I'm going to show you that it is so easy, easier than you could ever imagine. Now, if that is something you're interested in, come on, give me that like button. Hit that like button. Turn on that post notification bell so you'll be notified each time I make a video. So, without further ado, let's get into Cricut Design. Not Cricut Design Space, Silhouette Studio. Okay guys, we are in Silhouette Studio. The first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go over here where it says File, and I'm gonna go to Merge, and I'm going to find the image that we will be using today. So when it comes in, it's gonna come in big. All you'll have to do is to click on the file and you're going to size it with the corners, the little boxes in the corners. So right here you see a little box. You're going to size it using those boxes. The reason why you should use the boxes is that it allows it to keep its proportion. And that is going to be very important when you are sizing your image. You don't want it to be too warped looking. So I'm going to take this down about 11.1 inches, and this is going to be okay for me. Let me zoom up a little bit so that you could see what I'm doing. Now, this is what we have. Now, if we go ahead and turn this into an SVG, into a rhinestone template, there are a few things that's going to happen. One, these little the heart that is here, and this one that is here, it's going to look it's going to be too small to actually see that it is a heart. So what I'm going to do, you could do two things. This file right here is one file. It is not layered. You notice it is in one color. So what you're going to do, you're going to go ahead and release the compound path. Now, what compound path does is that it tells the software that you're working in that you must treat this file as one solid file, as one solid image, and it doesn't have layers. That is what compound path does. Now, what I want to do, I want to ungroup or release the compound path here so that I could manipulate the heart or the star that is here. In my case, I don't want them in my design, but if you want them in your design, you could make them a little bigger so that they could show up. So I'm going to show you what to do in order to do that. So this is the file. What you're going to do, go up here where it says object, and you're going to go down where it says release compound path. So when you release compound path, there are a few things that's going to happen. I'm going to show you what will happen, okay? So when I release the compound path, you see that there's a box around each of the elements here. There's a box around the L, I, F, E, and also the middle part of the E and the O, it is like filled in. Now, don't be alarmed. This is normal. So what you're going to do, you're going to click off and you're going to scroll down. And you could do two things. If you want the heart in it, you could make it bigger, make it smaller, or you could just delete it. In my case, I'm going to delete it. I don't need it. Or you could put hearts different places that you want them, but I don't need them in my design. So now that I have this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on Control A, okay? And you'll see that it highlights everything. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back up here and I'm going to make it a compound path. When I make it a compound path, you see that this is grouped together. Now, there are a few things that you could do. You could click on the ones, if you want to make it a file that has multiple colors, you could click on the ones that you want and group those, and then you go ahead and make it a compound path. But I just want this to be one complete file. So what I'm going to do now is this is ready to be turned into a rhinestone template. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go and get my rhinestone panel open. You could find the panel in two different places. One, you could go up here where it says panels and click on it and scroll all the way down and you'll find rhinestones. Or you could go over to your right, and on this side, you'll see an arrow and you'll see this little thing that looks like a gem. That is the rhinestone panel. You could open it from there. Now, a rhinestone design can have different functions or different things. You could have this one where you see an O, the effects, the rhinestone effects, or you'll have this one, which is none. Then you'll have the edge, where if I click on the edge, this is what you're gonna have. This is cute, but this is not the look that I'm going for. Um, you could use this one for those who do not have a lot of rhinestones and you're just testing it out to see how it works. You could also use this one. Also, you could use the linear fill, which will not look good in this with this design. Why? Because this file is more rounded, but the linear fill is like straight. Okay, linear means line. So the linear fill, anything that has a lot of lines, it will look so much better using the linear fill. Now, don't get me wrong, because the linear fill, you could use some letters for linear and some letters for radial. It depends on what you're working with. But in this case, I'm going to use the radial fill. Now, when I do the radial fill, this is what you're going to have. It looks really nice. It looks okay. But in order to get your words or the words to show up and to be more visible, go down here where you see the spacing and you're going to change it to a 0.15. Now this will help your text to be more visible, and I'm going to press enter right here where you see the spacing. Now look at that. You see how that it shows up much better than what it was in the other one. Now there's also something that I want you to pay attention to. Go down here where it says totals. This tells you the amount of stones that you will need in order to make this file. It's telling me that I need approximately 2,000 stones, okay? So you should ensure that you check that you have enough stones before you go ahead and start to make your design. Now, at this point, you could go ahead and play with the size. You could go ahead and change the size because you have not yet released your rhinestones. When you release your rhinestones, you cannot change your size again. So if you look at it and you say, okay, I could make it a little smaller or I could make it a little bigger, then you go ahead and make it, okay? But when you have released those rhinestones, you cannot go ahead and change the size. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and release these rhinestones because I am okay with the size that I have. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to press release rhinestones. Now I'm going to zoom up because I wanted to see what happens when you release the rhinestones. Okay, I'm going to zoom up. You see that there's a box around each of the rhinestones. So now this tells you that the rhinestones have been released, and now I could manipulate this and move stones and put stones where they belong. Okay, so what I am going to do now is I am going to click off, and because they are stones, I could move these stones to make them fit a little bit better or a little bit closer. So what I'm gonna do to put your stones in places, for example, in this you right here. Let me zoom up. There are two things I want you to see. You see these two stones right here are too close. So you need to move that away so that it is not touching each other. Okay. So ensure that you do that. There are no stones on top of each other or touching. So to copy a stone, what you're going to do, I like working with my mouse because it's easier. So I press Alt, I click on a stone and I drag it. Okay. So if you notice right here, I am copying stones. Okay, let me zoom up for you to see what I'm doing. So this stone right here, I want to copy it. I'm going to press on Alt. I'm going to click on it and I'm going to pull it down. See? And I'm just dragging and I'm filling up all these places right here. So this is going to be very time consuming. So I'm going to go ahead and fill up my spaces and then I'm going to come back and show you what to do next. Now, I want you to understand something. I want you to understand that you should not let your stones touch each other. If you let your stones touch each other, then it is going to rip your flock. So ensure when you're doing this part, ensure that the stones are not touching. Those circles are not touching. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up and then I'll show you what to do next. I'll see you soon. Okay guys, so I went ahead and I cleaned it up. So this is what I have. Don't worry if you can't fit stones, especially here. You know, this is a very small space in order to fit the stones because of the nature of the font that we're using. So I just left it the way this way because guys, so don't worry if you cannot fit the stones inside here. It's fine. It still looks okay. So what we're gonna do now is we are going to group them together and make them a compound path. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna press Control A. Everything will be highlighted. Then you're gonna go up to Object and you're gonna go to Group. So after grouping them, you're now going to make it into a compound path. Okay, so now you're gonna go to Group, Object, then you're gonna go to Make a compound path. When you make it into a compound path, the color will go away. But this is the point that I want you to be very vigilant. Why? Because sometimes there are stones that are sitting on top of each other. And when you look and you see bright red stones, stones that are very red, you'll know that something is wrong. You need to release back the compound path and take those stones off each other. So I am looking, I'm going around, I'm looking to see if there are any bright red stones. At this point, there are none, so I know that I am okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go here and I'm going to select another color. This time I'm going to select purple and then I'm going to take the red line off by clicking this little red box there and selecting none. So this is ready to be cut out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to press File, Save Selection, save it to hard drive, and I'm going to save it where I want it to be saved. And you're going to save this as an SVG file. Okay. So I'm going to select SVG and I'm going to press OK. Now, there are some things that I want you to remember to do. When you bring it into Cricut Design Space, you're going to ensure that the size that you've made it is the correct size. So this is 9.911 by width and 11.298 in height. Now that is very important. That size is very important when you bring it into Cricut Design Space because sometimes it doesn't come in the size that you make it. All right, so I'll see you in Cricut Design Space where we'll cut this out. Okay, guys, we are in Cricut Design Space. I did went ahead and I uploaded the the file that we just did in Silhouette Studio. This is it, but I'm going to show you what to do to upload it. So you're going to go here where it says upload, and you're going to go to upload an image, and you're going to browse for the image, and anywhere you save that image, that is where you're going to go and get it. Okay, so I'm going to go back. I'm going to cancel this because I already uploaded it. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go here where it says make it. Now, when it goes to make it, I'm going to send this to my Cricut cutting machine in order to cut it out. So what I'm going to do, when it comes in, this is what it's going to look like. Now, what you need to do is you need not to mirror this image. Okay, do not mirror this image, it will not be necessary. So what you're going to do, you're going to press continue. After you press continue, it's going to search for your device. So I changed it to custom. Now what you need to do is to check your cutting settings. I've heard persons use heavy cardstock to cut theirs and it cut properly. I have never used it. I make my own cutting settings, and this is the one I use, Melflock, and I bookmarked it so that I don't have to search for it all the time. So I'm going to select it, and then I'm going to send this to be cut out. So when I cut it out, I'll show you how to brush in your stones. Okay guys, so I went ahead and I cut out my template. This is what it looks like, and I put it on a Dollar Tree chopping. I put it on a Dollar Tree chopping mat. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to brush my stones in. Today I'm using crystal stones. I mean AB crystal stones. I'm using a navy shirt. You're gonna need a wax pencil, and you're gonna need a brush, painter's brush, and you're gonna need transfer tape. So I'm gonna pour my stones on, and I'm gonna brush them in. So what you do is just brush in a circular motions to get those rhinestones in. Okay guys, so I'm gonna take my transfer tape. Now this is an old transfer tape, so hopefully everything works out well. And what you're gonna do, this is one of the most nerve-wracking step that you could do in rhinestones, but all you're gonna do is you're just going to let it down and commit. Don't be nervous, just let it down. Let it down like that and commit to it, right? Then you rub it on so that the stones will come up. Don't be nervous. Okay, so now you're gonna take up your stones. See, if a stone is left back, just go back in, push it down, and go again. See, there are a few here. Okay. So what I want you to do now is to put your backing on so that it prevents it from damaging or coming off before you press. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is to prep my shirt. So now I'm gonna lint roll my shirt. Okay guys, so I'm at the heat press and I'm gonna okay, so I'll take that moisture out and then I'm going to find the middle. Okay guys, so all you have to do is to put your, be careful that it doesn't fold together. Okay, you're just going to put your match it up like this. So this needs to come up some more. And you want to sort of get the middle of the shirt. What I like to do is just to fold it to the longest part. So the middle is around here and I like to just mark it. Okay. So you see that the middle is so far from the shirt, so match it up. So this is quite okay. This is fine. Okay, so now we are going to press it for 345 degrees for 30 seconds and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay guys, we're gonna peel it off now. And that's what we have. I usually save my transfer tape. So this is not old yet. Okay guys, so this is the final result of the shirt that we have made. This is AB crystals on a navy shirt and I absolutely love it. Let me know what you think in the comment section and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.